a very good morning to all and welcome to BNS on the stock game on ETNOW. I'm Megha Chadha.
And I'm Devina Menon, and we've been playing the stock game with three of our experts since the start of this week. It's a journey we've undertaken for the entire week. Let's see who wins and who loses by the end of this trading week. We'll explain the rules to you. I'm sure you know it by now, but this is how we play the stock game right here on ETNOW. We give a notional sum of 5 lakh rupees to each of the participants at the start of the week, which they have to deploy into 4 stocks each. They can select one stock from the futures and options space, and they have to compulsorily churn 2 of their 4 stocks on a daily basis. If at all a target or stop loss is triggered, then they can change more than 2 stocks on a daily basis. This continues for the rest of the week, and at the end of Friday, we will get our winner, which is obviously between Sharmila, Sandeep and Amit Goyal this afternoon. SKS Microfinance should pull up that stock price for you before we go across and start the game show with our experts. Should pull up an SKS Microfinance. The stock has touched a 20% upside in today's session. The Finance Ministry, remember, has released a discussion paper on the MFI bill. The management is just about to start addressing the press right now. The RBI now will have the regulatory power over MFIs. This has been something that everyone's been waiting for, to know who's going to be the final say in matters of the MFI, and this time around it will be RBI who will be having the regulatory powers. They will supersede any state act, and that's the reason why you're seeing some excitement coming about in microfinance stocks, particularly SKS, which is higher by about 20%. Let's cut across.
Size start?
One second.
Thanks. I think in terms of this draft MFI development and regulation bill, our immediate reaction is that this is hugely positive for the sector, because it truly addresses the needs of the financially excluded in rural India. I would like to focus on 3 or 4 basic points. First and foremost, it adds to the regulatory clarity brought in by the Malagam Committee report, followed up with Reserve Bank's notification on May 3rd. It makes RBI the sole regulator, adds legal strength, provides the needed legal strength to that advocation, and that should result in orderly growth of the sector. The second important point is that microfinance is exempted from the definition of money lending. What it implies is that microfinance will be out of the purview of various state legislations on money lending. This again reinforces the concept of sole regulator. The third important aspect is there is a mention of MFI development fund. I think this is truly a landmark, because the MFI sector will not just be regulated by Reserve Bank of India, but with the help of this fund there will be direct funding and refinancing opportunities that should augment the flow of credit to the sector and equip us to meet those huge unmet demand of the needy borrowers in rural India. So this adds to the funding certainty. The fourth aspect is that the bill clearly captures a clause which says that upon passage of this bill in the Parliament, this would have the impact of overriding various other state legislations. Finally, there is a mention of constitution of central and state level advisory council. We welcome this provision. This will be done under the aegis of the central government. But the advantage of the state advisory council is that they would give us feedback on a constant basis. So it would avert the need for any knee-jerk reaction or something hitting you like bolt from the blue. So there would be constant dialogue mode with the state government and all other stakeholders, and if there are certain corrective actions to be taken, we would be taking it. The bill is also very aptly titled as MFI Development and Regulation, because development and regulation has to go hand in hand with each other. The way we look at it is this. Reserve Bank of India has completed the warranted regulatory surgery through the MCR guideline. The cancerous cells are removed, fine, but you can't just leave the healthy cells like that. You need to nurse the healthy cells. So that's what is happening here. So this gives the impetus and the strength which we require to move on with our dharma of financial inclusion. There are also mention about thrift by MFIs, that is an opportunity to access and mobilize the savings of our own members, subject to certain regulations. That's again an interesting proposition. That should, again enhance the customer connectivity and also augur well for funding opportunities. Thanks. Thanks.
Apart from that, you made all the important points that that are in sync with your expectations. And there are also other points, if you look at it, there are which are similar to the MFI Act, like the getting licenses from RBI and RBI approved for auditors, benchmarks and performance standards, state advisory council, and penalties and fines, and the segment not to be treated as a money lending and all. So how do you respond to all such kinds of?
No, we absolutely welcome that. As I said, development regulation has to go hand in hand with that. When we look for regulatory clarity, funding opportunities, we should be in a position to comply with these requirements. Actually, in a way, we are already registered with Reserve Bank of India. We are subjected to capital adequacy norms, minimum capitalization norms, and various other prudential norms. And with May 3rd circular, Reserve Bank of India has started regulating us on the functional side too. There is a margin cap which is already in place. They are restricting prescribed a numerical cap to arrest the over-indebtedness of the rural borrowers. In a way, the supervisory standard is improved, but we would welcome that because that would serve as a good entry barrier. So the debate here is not big versus small. The debate is good versus not so good. The debate here is compliant versus not so compliant.
So now that it is a proposal, it has to be accepted, it has to be vetted and accepted. And meanwhile, you have state regulation, and also you have your own problems like related to the liabilities and the waivers that you have done and you are supposed to do. Can you throw some light on that?
See, the point is, since October, primarily our focus has been on the following in terms of strategic objectives. Number one is to combat the AP crisis. Number two is mitigate the contagion risk, spreading it to other states. And the third is to protect our investment in the franchise we have built. And fourth is the point you referred to, delivering our promises to the credit grantors. It's more than 8 months now. If you take a, dispassionate, critical review of our operations and numbers, you would readily agree that we have been able to deliver on all these promises. We have kept our investment in franchise built very intact. As we speak today, all our 2,400 branches are up and running. We have not laid off any single employee. We have got 22,000, employees on the roll, and we have 7.3 million customers. And the collection efficiency of our portfolio in all 18 non-AP states average about 97% over last 8 months, which corroborates evidently that the contagion risk is behind us. Now, of course, the fact that no other state government has followed suit also adds to that. One other important point in terms of this bill is this bill has the benefit of a panel in which
All right, management of SKS Microfinance highlighting the benefits of this particular discussion paper on the MFI bill, talking about the draft bill, which is positive for the entire sector. Obviously, the bill will give the power of overriding state legislation, which is also a good thing, but the State Advisory Council will be there on a regular basis to give feedback and to probably so that they can take corrective measures if at all needed. The stock up, locked on upper circuit at 20%. But shifting focus from SKS Microfinance to the stock game then. And let's quickly highlight yesterday's portfolio of all our three experts before they join us right now to run you through today's portfolio. So we'll start off first with Sharmila Joshi and her portfolio as of day 3. She had a Patel Engineering, which she went long on. Havells was the other stock that she had in her portfolio. She went long on a Dishti, which didn't quite work out in her favor. And even a Baron Industries is what she went long on. Coming to Sandeep Wagle and his portfolio as on day 3. These are the stocks that he had in his portfolio. Tata Global Beverages is what he had. Nelco is what he carried forward from the previous day. M&M and Voltas, however, not working too well for him. And finally, on to Amit Goel's winning portfolio for yesterday. This is what he had. He had an NRB Bearings, which did well. Coxon Kings, Oriental Hotels, and a Crompton Greaves July Futures is what he went short on. Even that made money for him. Let me not waste any more time and quickly welcome aboard all our three guests on the show this morning to discuss their new portfolios. Sandeep Wagle, Sharmila Joshi, they're here with us. Amit Goel will be joining us in just moments from now. Start off with you, Sandeep. Your portfolio on day 4?
I have written an M&M I have added a short in GE Shipping. I think that stock is due for a correction. It has met resistance at higher levels. I have added Balrampur Chini as a buy because I believe that the sugar space there is some more upside of to the tune of 5 to 7%, and that move will begin today, or it has almost begun. Though Balrampur Chini is on a little bit of a downside, and I am short on the Bank Nifty because at this level yesterday in the last hour of the day, Bank Nifty did give a sell, and I thought it would go down and it would be a good hedge, but as of now it is not working in my favor, so this is what it is.
Right, and Sharmila, going across to you, what's your portfolio looking like on day 4?
I've bought Uflex with a target of 217.50, then and a stop loss of 209. Then I agree with Sandeep. I think the kind of news flow that you had on the sugar space. I believe some more sugar has been the government has allowed further sugar exports to take place, and I think Sri Renuka is a direct beneficiary of that. So Sri Renuka Sugar is what I bought with a target of 73.5 and a stop loss of 70.5. Then I've gone short. I've gone short on Kingfisher Airlines. I think following the news that their promoters have pledged further shares, and the fact that their entire, which actually now takes the entire holding of the promoters to be pledged. I think it's not really great news coming on the back of this whole pledge shares sell-off that we've had. So this is something that I sold with a target of 38 quarter and a stop loss of 40. And Chambal Fertilizer, again I think there is some action in the fertilizer space. There is a meeting. You are expecting DAP prices to be capped and pricing, free pricing, some freedom in pricing to be allowed for fertilizers. I think Chambal Fertilizers is going to be a big beneficiary of that. So a target of 85 quarter and a stop loss of 81.80 on Chambal.
All right, so 3 stocks long and 1 short on a Kingfisher Airlines. We will go across and find out individual stocks and why they've selected it. But let's quickly run you through Amit's portfolio as well. As of day 4, he will be joining us in just moments from now. So quickly pull up Amit's portfolio and I'll tell you exactly which stocks he's got in them. He's got a Nesco. This is the first stock that he's got in his portfolio, a long call. Once again adopting the strategy that he's adopted over the last 3 days, where he's gone long 3 stocks and short 1 stock. Bharat Forge is the other one that he's gone long on. KSB Pumps, he's got a target of about 239 and stop loss of about 223 on that one. And going short on an IRB Infra July futures, he's got a target of 167 and a stop loss of 171.5. So that is Amit Goel's portfolio. Let's start off now with the calculator plays and tell you how exactly each of them are placed in terms of their kind of positions that they are. Sharmila Joshi's entire portfolio is in the green as of today. So Uflex making good money. So is Sri Renuka, and Kingfisher Airlines, which she's gone short on, is making her a hefty chunk. 22,200 rupees is what she's making. On to Sandeep Wagle and his portfolio and how it stands after yesterday's performance. Remember, yesterday was not a particularly good day for Sandeep, but he's come back with a bang. M&M is what he's making money on. GE Shipping, Balrampur Chini, and a Bank Nifty July futures. So he's making about 13,600 rupees. And on to Amit Goel's portfolio, and this is how it stands. Making money on Nesco, Bharat Forge, KSB Pumps, losing out on an IRB Infra. Overall, still keeping in mind the gains he had yesterday, 9.5% overall portfolio gains, 46,200 rupees is what he is making.
Right, and let's go across to our experts with the individual picks. And Sharmila, I'll begin with you. You've got Uflex, and that counters about 5 rupees off from the target that you've set out for it.
Yes, but I think that this is really a really great stock. I think if you look at the kind of numbers that they've given, very good valuations, and at the current price, I think it's trading at a really cheap valuation. And I think more importantly, the buzz that you've been hearing in this stock, that DuPont is likely to take a sizable share in Uflex, which could in turn trigger an open offer. So I think this is definitely something that you need to keep on your radar. I think by itself the stock is great at this valuation, given the kind of numbers that they've had, given their capex plan of 180 million to set up a unit in Kentucky in the US, what's happening in this whole flexible packaging space, the kind of demand that you're seeing, the kind of numbers that these companies have been able to give, and the fact that the kind of margins that they're able to deliver. But I think if this DuPont buzz works out, then this really could take the stock to another it could take it to another level. So I think definitely you need to keep this stock on your radar. I've given it a target of 217 and a half for the day, but I think that's just a day target. Definitely I think you should keep the stock on your radar.
All right, keep the stock on your radar, and like Shamila pointed out, if DuPont works out, it could be a big kicker for you. Flex. That's the target, 217 and a half. Sandeep, your first stock, and you've carried forward a Mahindra & Mahindra.
Well, the auto space has been moving over the last few days, and I think it is a turn of Mahindra & Mahindra to lend some support. And it had given a clear breakout at 715. This was on Tuesday, and that is why I chose the stock. And as I expected, it is almost 1.4% up. My target is 734, and my stop loss is 705, which I don't think in this market scenario will get triggered. So around 734 is what I am looking at. I am looking at a short-term move, which should happen in today or tomorrow.
Right. Okay, so we'll be watching out keenly to see how M&M reacts. But Amit, going across to you, you've got Nesco as your next pick. In fact, and the target on that one has already been hit.
Yeah. See, Nesco is something which I am bullish on for long term. It's a very quality player in the tool segment, and it's a leading equipment supplier to Indian Railways, ordnance factories, and forging companies. And besides this, the company it runs a very big exhibition center in Bombay, which is the largest private exhibition center in the country. And it's a quality realty player as well. They've got a land bank of around 70 acres in Goregaon in Bombay,
right.
And they are doing extremely well with their real estate part as well. And unlike the other real estate companies, they are not leveraged also. So it's a very clean company with a very high operating profit margin of 70%. So it looks like a good play for the long term.
Sure.
And today I just played for a short-term gain of 2%, and my stop profit target has been hit.
All right, indeed it has been hit, making good money on a Nesco and finding another gem there from Amit. Coming to you, Shamila, on your second stock, Sri Renuka Sugars. Yesterday we had some news about duty-free imports in white sugar to be carried forward for another 2 months, which could be a big kicker for sugar as well. But Sri Renuka Sugar has been on a good ride up.
Yes, absolutely. This is not a gem, but definitely I think a good stock. I think what one must remember when looking at the sugar space is that the fact that really the last year has not been such a great year for them. I think if you look at the numbers, it's quite evident. But I think that going forward things are looking better. We have seen that improvement in prices coming across. And I think the fact that Sri Renuka also stands to gain from the fact that it has a facility in Brazil. And I think domestically, as you're saying, at home, the news that they could be allowed to export further sugar, there has been a second tranche that has been allowed. The direct beneficiary, there are a couple of companies that were bidding for that, Sri Renuka being among them. I think Sri Renuka, Simbauli Sugars being some of the stocks. So that's this I bought with a target of 73.5 and a stop loss of 70.5.
Right, and it's already about just a rupee off from the target that you've set out, Sharmila. But Sandeep, going across to you, you've got GE Shipping as your next pick.
Well, Mega, GE Shipping is a stock which has got a very strong resistance in the range of 292 to 293, and every time it goes there, it comes down back to 270, and that is the range it is moving in. And this is what exactly happened day before. It made a high of 294 and was on the way down, so I picked this stock up as a short sell because I thought Nifty was facing some resistance, and as a hedge, this was more of a hedge call. And even this market, it is down some 0.23%. Though I am not seeing it outperform. In case the market corrects, I think this stock will be on the way down. I have a target of 273 and a stop loss of 286.50.
All right, GE Shipping a short call there and making money on that counter, down about 0.2%. Amit, you've selected a Bharat Forge. Yesterday it was up and about in the session by close at about 3.5%, and today we've got news about it looking to vie for a $10 billion combat vehicle order. So good going for a Bharat Forge?
Yeah, see, Bharat Forge obviously needs no introduction. It's a very high quality player in the forging industry, and it's a force to reckon with on a global scale. The company has got certain cost advantages. It's a very high quality player in the forging industry, and what we believe is that the company can increase its market share in the global scheme of things in a big way in the time to come. So, it's while the P might look a little stretched, but, with the kind of earnings which the company can deliver over the next few years, I think if you look at the PEG ratio of the company, that's quite favorable for the investors. We expect the company to deliver, earnings and turnover growth of something like 30% per annum over the next 4 to 5 years. So, I think even at these valuations, it's a compelling buy for the long term.
All right, so compelling buy coming in on Bharat Forge, but let's slip into a very quick break on that note, and we'll be back with picks number 3 and 4 just after a very quick break.
Before that, let's tell you how you can participate on Buy Now, Sell Now with your individual stock queries as well. You can send us an email to bnsn@etnow.tv. You can also send us an SMS to 58888 or call us. Be live on the show with us by dialing into 022 2483 7111. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, the stock game right here on ETNOW. We've got 3 of our experts, Sharmila Joshi, Sandeep Barclay and Amit Goel, still lined up with us to discuss stock number 3 and stock number 4 with us. Sharmila Joshi has picked out a Chambal Fertilizers to go long on. Remember, it's been a good spell for some of these fertilizer names. Even yesterday, they were up and about. Today also, good move on a Chambal, up 1.5%, Sharmila.
Yes, absolutely. And I think my target on this really would be 104, though for the day I've given it a target of 85.25. Again, as I said, freedom to do pricing on fertilizer, as well as the fact that DAP is likely to be capped, is why I like this stock. A very good play, undoubtedly, in the fertilizer space. So as I said, I think in the near term, you could see the stock go up to 104, though for the day I've given it a target of 85.25.
All right, so Chambal Fertilizer, they're up over 1% currently in trade. But Sandeep, your next pick is Balrampur Chini, and we've seen that spike come in for all the sugar counters on Monday, and they seem to have held on steady to that mark.
Well, yes, I have been bullish on the sugar space for quite some time, say around 2 or 3 weeks. And what happened in the last couple of days, a lot of people were bearish, but I thought this was a corrective move, and a bigger move was going to come, and that is why I have chosen Balrampur Chini. Renuka is obviously the best pick in that space, but I think that has already moved up quite a bit, and I have a target of 67.30 in Balrampur Chini and a stop loss of 63.60. The big move will start only once it breaks 65, and it can go well beyond 70. 72 can be the target if somebody holds on for the next 3 to 4 trading sessions. That is what my view is.
72 to 73, if you hold on for a little longer, that's the target that Sandeep Barclay has kept out on Balrampur Chini. So sugar, the flavor right now, Sharmila has picked out one, and even Sandeep. Amit, coming to your third stock, KFC Pumps, an unusual pick here, would say?
Well, I would say it is again one of those hidden diamonds, which I wanted to share with the investors and with your audience. It is not many people know that it's actually a multinational company, because 40% of the company is owned by a German company called Clean, Schenman and Becker, which is a leading player in the pumps and valves industry globally. And India is a big focus area for them. And after Germany, India is their second biggest manufacturing factory and manufacturing hub. And they plan to increase the capacity by 100% in the country, which would just involve a capex of 100 crores, and it would all come from internal accruals. The company has got no debt on its balance sheet, so the entire benefit of this capacity expansion would come to the existing shareholders. The company paid a dividend of 100% last year, which translates into a yield of more than 4% at the current market price. So I think it's a brilliant play on the industrial sector, a company which has got almost a monopoly position in some of its product lines, and I think it could be a multi-bagger in the long term. So it might sound unusual, but I think this stock can actually be a multi-bagger over the next 2 to 3 years.
All right, a multi-bagger over the next 2 to 3 years. It seems like, Amit, you have a treasure out there. Every single day we've got diamonds, sapphires, rubies coming out of your treasure chest. Hopefully we'll get to see some more tomorrow and day after. Tomorrow, at least tomorrow's the last day. On to the last and final stock then. Sharmila, you've gone short on a Kingfisher Airlines. Is this also a hidden gem from you?
Not hidden and not a gem is all I can say. I think the airline is obviously, as an industry, is not my favorite space. And while airline traffic has been up in this last quarter, I think that, we know the woes of this industry. There was a spike a couple of weeks back when crude fell off, and, everybody thought that ATF prices would also be would come down, and there would therefore be a benefit to this space. But I think that's going to take some time in coming. In the meantime, we've seen crude recover, and I think the news that we got last evening, that the promoters have gone and pledged their shares. They had already had some shares which were pledged, and they've pledged a second tranche. So that means these two promoters have pledged their entire holding in Kingfisher Airline, which works out to something like 52.8% or something. So I think this is coming on the back of the kind of woes that we've had. I mean, typically this whole pledge shares issue, the way it's really played out, it's really not been all that great. So I think I have hit my target on this. It had kept a target of 38 quarter.
Absolutely right, Sharmila. So despite not being a hidden gem, it has achieved that target that you'd set out for it. But Sandeep, going across to you, you've got the Bank Nifty future. In fact, you've got, you went short on the Bank Nifty futures, but we've already seen the stop loss on that one getting triggered.
Well, yes, Megha, unfortunately that has happened. But yesterday in the last half an hour, 1 hour of trade is where the Bank Nifty had shown some weakness. And I had taken a hedge call because normally the Bank Nifty is a leader, so it could have happened that the Bank Nifty could have dragged the Nifty and the Sensex down, but that did not happen. The strength of the bulls is far more than the bear strength, and it has been triggered, so nothing one can do about it.
All right, but any which ways, that was quite a tight stop loss that Sandeep had maintained, so maybe not that much damage done, at least after even the stop loss getting hit. And like Sharmila was pointing out, Kingfisher Airlines, yes, the entire stake of UB Holdings and Kingfisher Finwest has been pledged, and she was talking about that. Anyways, the last and the final stock in Amit Goel's portfolio, you've gone short on an IRB Infra July futures, but this time around the short call not working too well for you.
Yeah, see, basically I just wanted to hedge my long calls by running a short position as well. And I thought IRB is a good target because it's a very highly leveraged company. The debt burden is simply huge. The company has been in the news for the wrong reasons. They have, done some bidding on some road projects with very low IRR returns, and their cost of debt is actually climbing up. So, I thought it was a good short target, but unfortunately my stop loss has been hit.
Right, a good short target, but unfortunately getting stopped out on an IRB Infra July futures. On that note, we've discussed each of their individual picks, and that's the calculator played. Sharmila Joshi, green pasture there, all the stocks in the portfolio looking smart. 4.5%, almost 5% gains on the entire portfolio, 23,500 rupees. On to Sandeep Wagle. After yesterday's disappointing performance, we've seen somewhat of a comeback, and M&M, GE Shipping, Balrampur Chini working in his favor, still getting stopped out on Bank Nifty, 2.5% on the entire portfolio. And Amit Goel, this is his portfolio as of today. Goes to see what happens by the end of the trading session, but making good money on Nesco, Bharat Forge, KSB Pump, getting stopped out on IRB Infra July futures, but still making a hefty 46,000 rupees. Take time out then to thank each of our experts for joining us on the stock game this morning, Sharmila, Sandeep, as well as Amit. We'll see you guys tomorrow once again to play the stock game with us. On that note, we'll slip into a very short break, but we will be discussing individual stock queries with Roger Bose on the other side, and these are the names of the stocks coming up first. We've got Sri Lanka, Titan Industries, as well as HOEC.
And here's how you can participate on Buy Now, Sell Now, your one-stop shop for all your queries. You could email us at bnsn@etnow.tv. You could also SMS BNSN followed by a query to 58888. You could also call in live at 022 24 837 111.